get this thing started. All right, I got I got my sis on the line. Shout out to you, sis. Say your name. Say what you do. If you got a little plug you want to put in here, anything you do. Give you a little introduction.
I don't do nothing special. But my name's Tiah. I'm from the West Side.
Tiah, you stupid.
I'm just messing with y'all.
No,
her name really shout out to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Her name really is T. She really is not from the West Side. She's from the East Side. But what we're going to talk about today, sis, is ghosting. The term a lot of these young folks use. We getting older now. So I'm going to call them young folks. Yeah. We're going to talk about ghosting. And what that looks like, what that feels like, if it's appropriate, if it's inappropriate. So, ghosting. I'm going to start off by saying I don't like the term. I think it's misused a lot. And I think it's associated with a negative context. I don't think there's anything wrong with ghosting in the reality of it. But do you think it's appropriate or inappropriate to ghost, whether it's family, platonic, intimate? Do you think it's appropriate or inappropriate to ghost? And when I say ghost, I mean just leave a situation without any explanation. You just like, look, I'm out. And I made it up in my mind, I'm out. And that's all I need to know. And you out.
No, I actually think ghosting is very whack. Very whack and immature to say. But I get people have their reasoning. But I personally think it's very whack. Not saying you always got to give somebody an explanation on why you're leaving them alone or whatever. But depending on your status with that person, like the relationship, somebody deserves something, some type of conversation or even just a simple, I outgrew you type thing, or I need my space. Simple as that. And people can either respect it or, take it as negative and just never talk to that person again. But if the person's ghosting anyway, clearly they don't want to talk to them again. But some situations are different than others. So,
All right. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. So let's say you with a guy, girl, whatever, you with somebody, you're in an intimate setting, and you like, you know what, this is horrible for my mental. I'm literally going insane dealing with this person. I got to get away from this person. I can't really talk to them because they might woo me. They might, sit there and put the moves on me, and then I can't get away. So the best thing for me to do mentally is to just remove myself completely and not say nothing. I'm going to block you. I'm going to do this. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm just going to disappear. What, you think that's wrong for these people?
It's not wrong because, again, people have their reasoning for why they do what they do. I think that's very whack. Even if that person is toxic, tell that motherfucker they're toxic and that I don't want to deal with you. Simple. Right. Simple.
Okay.
Like, it don't gotta be complicated. It don't gotta be a whole, you're toxic, you're blowing my mind, like this and that. And then if you feel like that person going to reel you back in, then clearly you're not really over this person or this situation like you think you are. You're trying to tell yourself that you are. But shit, if you are, stand on them 10 toes. Like, tell that motherfucker they're toxic and leave me alone. I'm done with you.
Hey, look, this is a no-holds-barred conversation. It's going to be a little bit of cussing, a little bit of fussing. It's going to be all that. So, no, don't be. Be authentic. Put y'all kids to bed. Put y'all kids to bed. Our kids really shouldn't be listening to this anyway. You should be conveying it to them in a manner that's appropriate for children. We're going to leave it like that. But, okay, that's the intimate segment of it. If it's a family relationship, intimate and family, a lot of people They hold them at different standards. If it's a family relationship, you have a toxic family member, and you say, you know what, it's good for my mental, I got to ghost you. And I don't necessarily want to have this conversation with you because I feel like if I have it with you, then John, and Bobo and all them going together, and they're going to be coming at me about why I don't deal with you no more, and I'd rather not go through all of that. What about
But
that?
wait, did you just hear yourself? Even if you tell them that, like, I'm not really going to explain to you why I'm ghosting you or why I don't want to talk to you no more.
No, I'm not saying you explain that to them. I'm saying you having that in your own.
I was about to say, because that's still saying something. Like,
no, I'm saying you having that in your own mind. Like, I don't want to really have this conversation with you because Bobo and John and all them going to come at me, and I don't really want to talk to you about that. This is what you're saying to yourself. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to just bow out gracefully and not say nothing because I don't want to deal with all of that unnecessary backlash because I'm making a decision for my mental health that I feel like will better me and, you know, help me keep my peace that I'm barely holding on to. So I don't want to say nothing, and I'm just going to remove myself. Do you think these people are still owed some type of exit, I guess, if you will?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think that really helps people, though, in the long run? Like, you think ghosting really helps people? Like, the person that's ghosting? Like, do you really think that helps their mental?
That's a good question, though. That's a good question. I think it does help people that are doing the ghosting. I think it does help their mental. Now, the other person, that's a good question for them.
Because I can't really, like, speak on that. I don't think I've ever really ghosted somebody unless I was kind of forced to ghost them kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
so I can't say that, oh, my God, I'm going to ghost this person because I just can't. Like, I'm just never going to talk. Like, I feel like if I did ghost somebody in aspect, it's because maybe I was forced, kind of. Like, all right, well, they don't talk to me no more, so I ain't going to talk to them. And it's just like, all right, go about your business, and you just forget the person exists. But
I have ghosted
so
people.
I can't really say, oh, I've ghosted somebody, and it's really helped my mental.
Yeah, I have ghosted people, but I've ghosted people with grace, if that makes any sense. Like, I've ghosted people, and I've told you before, okay, this ain't how you treat me, this ain't how you talk to me, we ain't gonna do it like this. And I've made it up in my mind, and I'm guilty of that. I've made it up in my mind already. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna really deal with this person like this because maybe a conversation wasn't had, but I feel like other conversations were had, like context clues, so to speak. Like, you know what? I don't like how you doing this. Don't be doing that. And I don't like how you handle me like this, or I don't like how you do this. I'm not really cool with that. And to me, that's enough leverage for you to hang yourself like, okay, you don't like how I'm moving like this, and I'm not saying you got to change yourself to suit somebody. What I'm saying is if you want to conduct yourself with me, then you might want to make some changes in your variables. But if you don't, I'm not trying to tell you, hey, you need to change this. I'll just remove myself. You don't got to change nothing you're doing. I'm going to just fall back. But if I gave you enough context clues and like, I don't like this, I'm falling out with you, this is happening, that is happening, I'm not feeling this. I don't think I owe you a conversation to be like, okay, I've had my limit now, so I'm going to remove myself. No, I gave you all of those parameters before and certain things. We all went to English. We all went to school. We all learned, we went to language arts. I think me and you were in the same class together, one of them. I ain't even going to say the name. Remember, yeah.
Right, we're not going to throw names out.
We ain't going to say no names, but, yeah, we've learned. We got to pay attention to context clues. We got to pay attention to behaviors and patterns and things like that. So it's like if I already done let you know a little bit, this ain't what I'm rocking with, then it's up to you to pick it up. I can't hold your hand and say, okay, I don't think I owe you that, at least to say, I can hold your hand, but I don't feel like I owe you that to say, hey, okay, now I'm going to leave your side and this is why. Because remember when I told you back 2 months ago that da-da-da-da, and then 2 years before that, and da-da-da-da, I don't feel like I need to do that. I feel like as adults, now with children it's different, but as adults, or I like to call them little humans, with little humans it's different. But as adults, I think we should be able to pick up on these things and be like, you know what, let me get it together or not get it together and be okay with this person dipping off.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on, like, your aspect, like your view of things. But Again, does that really help your mental? It's like, did that really help your mental?
I think it does help the mental of the person that's doing said ghosting, but the other people, I can understand how it's like, dag, you didn't even tell them anything, so how are they going to correct it? But that kind of falls back into that other segment of like, well, I shouldn't have to tell you how to correct it unless you're my little human, or, you know, I shouldn't have to tell you how to correct it. And it ties back into some of my other conversations where it's like, you know, everyone was raised differently, and I get that. But it's like, listen, I'm not going to walk with you through life. Now, you're going to go through some hard things, but I can just tell you how to conduct me. And if I ghost you, and ghosting can be different things. It could be somebody's just going through their own glow up or glow down, whatever they're going through. Somebody's going through their own thing, you know, because it could be a depression. It could be, you know what, I'm leveling up, I'm outgrowing, or it could be the negative side of that. It just all depends on that person. But as a person who's being ghosted, because I've been ghosted before, and I mean, I feel like if you know who you are and you're grounded within who you are, I don't think you take that much offense to it. You're just like, well, look, if you know that you were A1 in that relationship, that friendship, that family relationship, whatever, if you know you were A1 and you did what you can do and you were a stand-up person, then I don't really think you have an issue. You're just like, well, look, that's how I've looked at it in my ghosting situations. It's like, well, look, they probably going through something. I never once, like, you know, thought it was me unless it was a situation where I knew it was me. But it's just like, well, they got their own stuff they got to deal with, and that's okay because I want them to take their time. So I never really took it offensively unless it was a situation where I know I was possibly wrong. And I'm like, well, man, I could have. Maybe it was a little piece of me.
But that could still be hurtful. Like, because even if you do know, I was that good friend, I was that whatever. Like, even then, because if I feel like I was a good friend, then, again, why do you have to just ghost me and not be able to, you know, simply just say, oh, you know, I grew apart from you, I grew apart from this friendship, or I need to, you know, elevate at some parts of my life. Like, shit, tell me. I don't know. That's just how I feel because I take my relationships and friendships very seriously.
Nah, I feel that.
I feel like, you know, some things that, you know, people do to me, I would never do to them type shit. But, I mean, everybody can't be you and do what you do.
That's something I've actually learned growing, like, and experimenting with people in life. I've learned that you don't put nothing past people. For me, I don't put anything past anybody. So I don't know if that's something I need to shout out to my therapist. Maybe I need to talk to my therapist about that. But I don't really, I guess I don't feel the burn from relationships like that because it's just like, not to say I don't love, I don't care, I do that, but I also know people are capable of anything. And a lot of times in life, people have shown us things. We choose to abide by it or not. And I just, through life, through growing, through age, wisdom, I've chosen to abide by what people show me. So it doesn't really move me, so to speak, if people are doing a certain thing that I don't really agree with, or I'm like, oh, this ain't conducive to me. It don't really affect me like that because I'm like, 9 times out of 10, I done seen this behavior from you before, so it's not really a shock factor. It's like, well, you doing what you know to do, and that's okay. And it's up to me at that point. It really has nothing to do with the other factor. It's up to me if I want to stay or be subjected to that, or if I'm like, you know what, no, I'm cool. I'm going to get on the next thing smoking. I'm going to take the first Greyhound on to leveling up. It's up to me, so I don't really get offended by that because it's just like, whatever. This ain't nothing new.
I don't know. Well, hey, I'm a little sensitive person.
And no, I understand.
My feelings are involved. I mean, I can also not care, but when I care, I care.
Yeah, and I understand that because I'm sensitive too. Stuff hurts me, for sure. Stuff hurts me, but I guess people don't surprise me. people don't surprise me. So
I mean, it don't surprise me either, but
yeah, like I don't really get. Yeah, I don't get too many surprises by people. So I guess the ghosting thing is just not really a big thing to me. So we touched on intimate relationships, family relationships, and I noticed you said like, well, that's a little different. Okay. So what about friend relationships, like just platonic relationships? Do you think then you're owed an explanation if there is a ghosting happening? Do you think you're owed an explanation? Because with family, you said, well, that's kind of different, but how?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on like your relationship with the family member, but family can just do you wrong just like anybody else. I don't know. I think altogether in general, it really depends on your relationship with the person that will put into effect on like how deeply you care about or how deeply the ghosting bothers you.
Okay.
Because like I said, like with me, my friendships, I cherish them. I love my friends to death. Like, so I feel like certain stuff is thought like ghosting without some type of explanation, especially, if I didn't do anything, if there wasn't no like argument or anything that would cause us to fall out or whatever, like that type of thing will bother me. Because it's like, damn, what did I do? Versus a family member you only see at family functions. Like, this cousin's not talking to me. Like, all right, whatever. Like, it depends on like your relationship with the person. But friends ghosting, especially if you're like close friends for years, yeah, I feel like an explanation is not like I'm saying before, not a full explanation, because nobody really is opposed to that. Like, people don't owe you shit. But something, a conversation or something, especially if like people are checking up on you, like, hey, how you doing? How you been? Like, right then and there is the opportunity to say, I'm doing fine. I just had to take some time, blah, 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 or I'm taking some time. Boom, that's it. Something simple like that. Nobody had to ask what you got going on, if anything, like, happened or anything type thing, but,
Okay,
that's
so
me.
no, I feel that, and that's what we want. We want a bunch of different opinions, so that's dope. So we're gonna start driving it to the closure here. So with the topic of ghosting, and well, almost to the closure, the topic of ghosting and the different relationships and how it impacts different relationships. What about the people that, okay, let's say we do it your way, and we're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna ghost somebody, and you know what? I'm just trying to get my mind right, but I'm gonna tell them I feel like I owe that to them. I'm gonna tell them, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get my mind right. I'm gonna fall back from you. What about the people that aren't really receptive of that? That's like, well, what you mean? What? Why you acting funny? Why you acting stink? Like, what you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you moving different. What about those people that really can't take that?
Sometimes if you can't take it, well, if you can't take it, don't look for it. But that's just simple as that. Because at the end of the day, like I said, they don't owe you nothing. So if somebody is coming out to at least keep it real with you on why they're being weird, different, whatever, then you gotta learn to respect it. And I think, speaking for myself, I would rather that. Like, I would respect it more than you just ghosting or not, saying what's really up. Not about to sit up here and argue with you back up and forth and say you wrong, you this, and that. I respect it. But again, you gotta be able to want that. If that ain't the type of thing you're looking for, you got to argue on why this person being weird, then don't act. Let them ghost you.
Nah, facts. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I think we got into a pretty heavy topic of ghosting. that was very interesting. We definitely have two different perspectives on it, but I think we can agree that it does happen. It does happen. Mm-hmm. How you perceive it and how you go about it, that's all up to you as an individual person. It does happen. It is a part of life. You may not be everybody's cup of tea or everybody's shot of Hennessy, whichever you prefer. But it's just one of them things. So if you were ghosted, more power to you. You know, it's all right. Maybe don't look for closure. And if you were ghosted and you did get closure, I hope you can take it. I hope you're okay with that. And like Tiah said, I hope you can respect it. Yeah, I hope you can respect it and just, you know, respect everybody's space, respect where everybody's at. It may not feel the best sometimes, depending on the situation. And sometimes it may be a weight off your shoulder. It just depends. So with that being said, y'all take it easy. Stay breezy. Try not to get ghosted. And if you do the ghosting, then look, do what works for you. And with that being said, sis, you got anything else you want to say before we close this out?
Nope. Everybody stay real, stay safe.
Listen, stay safe. And I heard that little COVID little situation, whatever, trying to ramp up again or whatever.
Just eat my dinner, that's all.
But yeah, y'all stay safe out there and just try to stay away from the ghosting, whichever side of the fence it is. Try to stay away from it. All right, y'all.